Welcome to Law Story. In this final episode of our Adolf Hitler series, we follow his story from the outbreak of World War II in 1939 to his final days in 1945. This is the dictator at the height of his power and his ultimate downfall. On September 1st, 1939, Adolf Hitler unleashed the war he had long threatened. German tanks rolled into Poland, supported by overwhelming air power. Civilians fled in terror as the German Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, struck with unprecedented speed.
Success is unimpeded as Hitler's divisions move against outnumbered Polish defenders. Later, on other world battlefronts, the Allies are to destroy the myth of the invincibility of the Nazi armies. But this is Hitler at the peak of his armed might, and the record of a nation overrun in just days is of military as well as historical importance.
Just 2 days later, Britain and France declared war. What had begun as one invasion now expanded into the Second World War. In the months that followed, Hitler's forces advanced with stunning efficiency. In 1940, Denmark and Norway were conquered in weeks. Then, German armies struck west, bypassing French defences and capturing Paris within 6 weeks. Hitler stood triumphant before the Eiffel Tower, the master of continental Europe. Yet one enemy remained. Across the Channel, Britain defied Hitler. In the skies of the Battle of Britain, the German Luftwaffe bombed London night after night.
The thing was foolproof. See for yourselves how simple the whole operation was to be. Look. German plan for invasion of England. Phase 1. Knock out the Royal Air Force and its bases. Get control of the air and the sea lanes across the Channel. Follow the Blitz plan that had wiped out Poland, the Low Countries, and France. Destroy communication and transport lines. Above all, get command of the air. Phase 2. Pulverize the coastline with dive bombers. Drop parachute troops to take over the airfields and establish beachheads. Phase 3. Actual invasion. Pour the German panzer divisions across in high-speed barges under an umbrella protecting fighter planes. Then send spearheads of armed might to divide, surround, destroy all opposition. That's all there was to it.
But Britain's spirit did not break, and for the first time, Hitler's momentum was halted. Impatient with Britain's survival, Hitler turned his gaze east. On June 22nd, 1941, he launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history. 3 million German soldiers surged into the Soviet Union, expecting a quick victory. At first, success seemed assured. Vast territories were captured and millions of Soviet prisoners taken. But Hitler had underestimated the Russian winter and the resilience of the Soviet people. As temperatures plummeted, German forces froze in their trenches, their equipment failing. In December 1941, the Soviet Red Army counterattacked outside Moscow. Hitler's dream of swift conquest was broken. As the war expanded, Hitler's most horrifying policies were carried out. Across occupied Europe, Jews and other groups targeted by Nazi ideology were rounded up, deported, and systematically murdered. The regime built concentration camps and extermination centers, where mass killings took place on an industrial scale. The Holocaust claimed the lives of 6 million Jews and millions more victims. making it one of the darkest chapters in human history. Central to Hitler's legacy of cruelty and destruction. In 1942, Hitler pushed deeper into the Soviet Union, seeking oil and resources. His armies reached Stalingrad, a city whose name carried enormous symbolic weight. The battle that followed was one of the bloodiest in history. By early 1943, the German Sixth Army was encircled and forced to surrender. Nearly 300,000 soldiers were lost. This crushing defeat shattered the myth of Nazi invincibility. From this moment on, the German Reich was on the defensive. In June 1944, the Allies opened a second front, with the D-Day landings in Normandy. Thousands of ships, planes and soldiers poured into France. Hitler had fortified the Atlantic Wall, but it crumbled under the Allied assault. Meanwhile, in the east, Soviet armies advanced relentlessly.
Гитлеровцы хотели добиться реванша за Сталинград и повернуть ход войны в свою пользу. Для выполнения своих планов фашистское командование стянуло в район Курска 50 пехотных, танковых и моторизованных дивизий. Значительные силы авиации, особые надежды враг возлагал на новые мощные танки «Тигр» и самоходные орудия «Фердинанд».
German cities were bombed to rubble. Hitler, increasingly isolated, issued impossible orders, refusing to accept the reality of defeat. The empire he once boasted would last 1,000 years was crumbling in just 12. By April 1945, Soviet forces surrounded Berlin. In the bunker beneath the Reich Chancellery, Hitler remained with a handful of loyal followers. Reports of betrayal and collapse filled the air. On April 29th, he married Eva Braun. The next day, as the Soviets closed in, Adolf Hitler ended his life with a pistol shot. His body was allegedly burned in the garden above the bunker. Just days later, Germany surrendered. The war that Hitler had started left more than 70 million dead and reshaped the world forever. His life ended in a bunker, but his crimes and destruction remain etched in history. Thank you for watching this final chapter of our Adolf Hitler series on Law Story. This was very small, very surface level, just going over the main points of Adolf's life, but I do intend to have further in-depth discussions on specific subjects surrounding World War II. If there's any subject you would like me to personally do, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments.
Прервал грохот артиллерийских залпов. Эта советская артиллерия обрушила на гитлеровцев 1000 тонн снарядов.